Hello guys, Ruben from the trading room. We should be on live. Let me know if the sound is good, if you see me. Yeah, we'll be happy to get some feedback. And yeah, I was just answering to Nelson on the chat who asked if I have any, if we're going to talk about dollar CAD and NASDAQ. Just replied to him that I'm just entering a trade in dollar CAD. I will explain what is it and what I'm expecting for that. NASDAQ was, let's say, totally flat during the pre-market, so there are some spots also, but 30 minutes before the opening, I prefer to wait and check if we can find maybe a short scalp on it. So yeah, let's move into MT5 and the chart. Hi Adir, hi everyone. Thank you for joining me again today. Okay. Again, I would like to remind this is a general disclaimer, as I do regularly before my trading room. All the trades and the analysis I'm providing to you guys is only for educational purposes. Trading is at your own risk, and you are only responsible for your decision. So important to remind. Okay, here on dollar CAD, just look at the chart. We had here an overextended movement, as we can see here very clearly. The market has created demand, behaving at the 20 standard deviation. So for me, it's, let's say, a spot that I also explained yesterday, but this is a spot where buying is not what I'm looking for. So in that case, I will not buy. So I'm looking probably to make a sell, and I go to lower time frame and see that for example in the M15, for example, you see that the momentum is on the upside, but it's very weak. It's not like a momentum like we had here after a huge volatility movement. The momentum, is it's behaving very quiet. Still the price is succeeding to make higher high, higher low. But at some point the momentum will probably going to finish. So that's what I'm expecting. What is good also in the H1, we are actually behaving at a fresh supply. So it's another indication for me to enter. Again, the execution is not at the best spot because I could probably sell at the top here. But it's not like a scalp trading, it's more a day trade. I expect the price to give a short retracement. The stop loss should not be too high. I think the stop loss should be very tight around that phase here. Yeah, on H1 we already have a high stochastics here. Also here we are above 80. Also in the H4 you see that here we already around 80. So we got multiple confirmation. Also on the H4 you see that we are far from the average. Bollinger Bands are very wide like that. So yeah, here when I use Bollinger Bands, the most difficult things to do is to timing properly the entry and where to put the stop loss, because I know clearly that the trend here is on the top side, so the trend can continue. And if, let's say, at some point the market can take my stop loss and then go back, so I have several confirmation. I have several mindset to tell me, okay, after this huge move, the market still continue. At some point, the market will give a short rejection. I'm not telling that the price will go back to the blue line, which is here, but at least go back to the base, which is here. So we're gonna check what's happening in the session. I'm not sure that we will see during the opening what's going on, but you see it's quite the same that's happening here, guys. Here we made the huge bounce. First rejection, and then the market continued to drop down. I'm expecting quite the same here, and we are also in a fresh supply that we didn't test yet. So here my information. Good morning everyone. I see a lot of interaction in the chat. Tao, Cocoon Prime, Tom, Bob, Francesco. Thank you guys. Severino, Bob. Yeah, thank you guys for interacting with me. Don't hesitate to ask any question you may have if you want to move into another pairs, or discussing about a specific subject, let me know. You are free. It's an open session. I don't want to be speaking alone and explaining all the time. It's always good to get some feedbacks from other traders. So yeah, Euro USD long. Let's check it. I think I see the Euro USD today, and again, didn't bring me any spot to go in like I see yesterday. Yeah, I'm not quite comfortable by entering a spot here, even though it's on the buy or on the long. Yeah, I think the market on the London session react well to the low of yesterday. I think, if that's the low of yesterday. Yeah, so this is the low of the end of the New York session, and then at the London session and the ASEAN session we had some rejection also here. So this was a daily spot for today. Actually here, I'm not quite comfortable by doing anything. Maybe we go to the M5 and check if we can have some key zone. It's quite difficult. We have this point here, which can be a buy on a very short term. It was a resistance during the London session. It's between the ASEAN and London session, and then we break it at the beginning of the London session. Again, here we have a spot to make a buy, but here I'm not being comfortable. I think the zone that we are playing around here in the Euro USD is not the best for me. I'm waiting few pips above. This zone here will be the key zone for me, as I explained yesterday during the weekly forecast, guys. It was here a good spot for me because it's coordinating with a lot of points. And if I go to the dollar index back, it's especially, let me show you, especially that red line. Okay, I will just get rid of almost of the black line. So you see, this is especially this spot here, which is coordinating with the top of 2016, not so far from the zone of 2020. So you see, this is all this zone that I'm looking for the price to go down. Again, here I'm not comfortable by making any sell or any buy, because if I expect the price to go down, I don't have a lot of space, because here there might be some rejection. And on the top side, I'm not quite well by having any spot here. You see on the H4 it's making higher low, sorry, lower low, lower high. So yeah, again, I'm still having the same mindset from yesterday on the USD. This moment where you need to understand a little bit more what's the next movement before I enter any new trade on the USD. So yeah, on dollar CAD is quite something different. It's only a technical point where it's quite easy to find it, I think, in my point of view. So we're gonna check. I'm expecting actually the price at least to reach back the down of the trend line, and if we can break it and go back to the base, I will take some TP here. Yeah, only to be patient. Talking about the Nasdaq, it was during the pre-market today, not a lot of things. Market was consolidating between 11,830 and 11,770, something like that. And here, if you see that, guys, it's quite the same mindset. We are at the average price. Okay, so at this time, not doing anything. The market will open in the next 20 minutes. If I was here before, probably making a buy here or a buy just here is quite well to make some scalping before. You see, it's quite easier to find the waves here. You see there is at least only red candle, and suddenly we have a green one. Stochastics is below 20. Okay, so I just want to show again. Stochastics is below 20. We are at the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, only red candle. And here, so especially it's happened actually here, starting to make a buy. It's also coordinating with the previous line. So here it was also a key zone. Here it's a little bit more difficult because we didn't reach the zone, but still, okay, you see only red candlesticks. Only here we had a rejection, and again, it's especially at the bottom of my stochastic settings, which is below 20. So of course here there was also a point. Actually we are at the average, you see very low volatility, so actually just waiting. Of course, when actually it's the pre-market, so generally in the pre-market we don't break, you know, any top or high of the New York session before. Of course, you should be very careful when the US market will open. Generally, there will be high volume one side or the second side. Okay, this type of consolidation zone works only during pre-market or during low liquidity and low volume sessions. So this type of setups works well, for example, in the Asian session in Forex, when you have this type of setup. You see it's like the same here. If I go back, if I go back to the M5 chart and try to find the previous days, yeah, a little bit here. So here we have the opening of the London session, if I don't mistaken, and then here we break at just before the opening. Okay, so you see the difference in market. So here it's an Asian session, then it's London session, and then you have the New York session. So it's also good, guys, for you to make a back test to check whether your strategy is working better in the London session, better in the Asian session, or better in the American session. And you need to understand the difference between the different type of volatility between the session. Okay, let's read some people on the chat. Euro USD has ended the long move. It will go down to make a new low. I agree. Okay, I agree. If I follow my mindset again, the market here is overextended. The market shouldn't break a leg down. The fact is here on the H4 and also on the daily chart, you see the uptrend is totally clear. I don't have any spots to make any sell. So here, if you want to make a sell according to a data, let's say to a data analysis or quant analysis using average, maybe. But when you look at technical analysis, there is not like a point here to make any sell, and it's still the market is making higher low. Here even a higher high yesterday. So yeah, if you look for the weekly chart and say, okay, the market here might be reducing, probably. But again, my mindset told me, yeah, I should wait for this zone to find any better price to open a short. And it's also coordinating with the dollar index. I will go back, guys, again, but I'm looking for that in the dollar index. Okay, this zone will be my inflection point to make a decision if here the dollar can gain a bit some value. So expecting the price to go a little bit down, attract more buyers. Sellers that want to take profit also will be welcoming here, and then the price will bounce a little bit. Okay, so we will see. And of course we can have some very high impact news and the price can drop again straight to the range that we had between 2018 and 2022. Okay, depends. I want to check the price action during this zone. If we have some consolidation, some let's say ranging movement, it might be a good point to make a buy. So in the Euro USD, waiting for a sell. Let's look at the dollar CAD. Meanwhile, the position is quite going on my side. Again, we are still at the uptrend. The average is a 1 here. We are going below the average on the last 5 minutes. We will check if the price can give a dip and see how we can manage it. Rudy, I'm looking at New Zealand USD short from inversion. Okay, so Rudy is not asking, but he's looking for a New Zealand trade. Mean reversion on the daily chart. Let's look at that. short for motivation on the daily. Yeah, I already see what you are looking here, but okay, I will try to make the analysis from A to Z and understand if it can goes in my mindset. But here on the H4, you see it's quite a long uptrend, very clear here. Okay, we are a bit around the average. If I took let's say, you know, when I'm placing trend line is never will be working well. I'm using this only to understand the overall channel. I'm not using the trend line to make any confirm or any entry, let's say. It's only to understand the overall spectrum of the pairs. But here it's gonna be the average. So here the price is exactly at the average in the H4. We can also see that we are a little bit close of the median of the Bollinger Bands here. So in the H4 chart, I prefer to wait for any volatility movement. If I go to the daily chart, it's quite clear, it's quite the same. The average, we are, you know, you see, first of all, I'm not looking for a buy here. That's a good point. Okay, we are at the top of the Bollinger Bands. The average is also far, so yeah, selling can be an opportunity. I have stochastics here, you see, flat above the 80, starting to cross. So this can be also a point for me. If I go to lower time frame, yeah, the price didn't touch this one. Yeah, it's quite very difficult. I think opening a sell here would be very good in a swing, but you need to walk very accurately. The fact is that I will not encourage you to open the full volume, especially here, because there are some space to make a new high again. On the daily chart, the market can give here a rejection. We already have a rejection here. You see, this is the top. So if you want to work properly on this type of trade, probably wait, not wait, but try to open it gradually and not straight in terms of volume. Okay, so you can open, let's say, 20% of the trade here. You can add 20% here, 20% if it's make a new high. And of course, I think the overall loss that you can have, it's above that high. Except that the setup here will not be valid. Okay, so you can starting to build the position. In some of my trading room, I also explain how to build the position step by step. But here I see a setup to build the position and not going straight with the full lot size. So start gradually because the uptrend is still intact before you wait. Before you wait for the price to go down. Okay, so that's my point really. I hope you understand. Yeah, I'm going to read a little bit more the chat, guys. Long. Okay, so Maya is long on the pound dollar. She believes. Let me know if you're a girl or no, but she believes that the price have made a fake out on the M15 minute chart. Okay, so you're talking about that specific things, I think. I'm not sure what's your entry price, but the only thing I see was the demand in the M15 minute that's creating. And if I can enter the entry of Yan, I'm not all the time using supply and demand of let's say, not all the time looking for demand and supply zone that Gilb and Hu have made the webinars, not the method. I'm also using different tools. In that case here, yeah, it's a demand and we can use it into the analysis. But this is not, using supply and demand is not my main mindset. My main mindset is to work with volatility, standard deviation, average, combining all the things together, and then take any decision. So no, I'm not drawing supply and demand on let's say consistently basis, but here it's a demand. We can see clearly it was fresh demand. The market react already here, and it's react again here. So you see that the demand is starting to be consumed here. So the only point I see here in the pound dollar was, you know, the reaction to that demand. Here, after we break out, it's not. Of course, we see that it's a fake breakout. It was during, you know, if I see to this point here, this is during the London session before the US market opens. We are at the top of the Bollinger Band, so in my case, I will not open a buy, and we have stochastics crossing above 80. So, you know, I'm not a trader that trade with a breakout. So yeah, it's, if you were buying here, it's quite a trap for buyers in the short time frame. Okay, this point here. And you see also here on the M5, okay, I don't have volume actually in the pound dollar, but I believe that the volume here with this movement probably is quite low. Okay, we are here also at above the 80 stochastics, probably another extended movement in the M5, and we get already the rejection. So yeah, we can see it very clearly. What do you think about crude oil? Tom, that's a very good question. I was trading oil for 1.5 years in options. We'll have a look at the chart in the next minutes. I want to focus a little bit more in the Forex before the market opens. But yeah, I have already a perspective in what's going to happen on oil. And if you're interested by trading oil, it's for me it was an amazing asset to trade. It's combined geopolitics, economy, energy crisis. It's combined a lot of things: physical supply and demand, the OPEC, which is the organization that control the oil in all the world. It's quite an amazing asset to trade. Unfortunately, we are not offering oil in the 5ers, but it should happen very soon. So yeah, I'm going to check about oil just after. But let's talk about the pound Aussie and Aussie yen. Sorry, just before the Euro Australian 5-minute channel. 5-minute channel. Possible uptrend. Yeah, it's possible uptrend, but again, it depends what you want to do with this possible uptrend. Okay, for me, it can consider a flag here, and then the market can continue on the lower side. But yeah, clearly it's an uptrend on the M5. We are especially at the middle. Okay, if you look at the M5 chart, we are actually here at the middle. Okay, and here we are quite at the top also. Okay, in the 5 minutes just before. Okay, so we have this uptrend. We see this very clearly. And you see here that we have here a top already that created during the previous session. You see we have here on the M1 creating a top. We touch, we go down, and then again we touch, we go down. Stochastics above 80. So yeah, quite a good scalp point here to make a sell. So yeah, very, very interesting to look. I'm not looking for making a buy here especially. Yeah, and it's quite the same. If I look at the H1 or H4 chart, we are quite at the top, guys. So it depends. I like to open the time scale that you guys are giving to me, but if we have this huge consolidation zone, it's starting from 2 months ago in October. We are already far from the mean. Okay, we are actually at the top. So making a buy here is not the best setup for me, at least in the H4. In the daily chart, it looks like the market can give a push, but again, in my mindset and in my scenario, I'm not expecting a breakout. I'm always expecting the price to go back. And of course, the risk reward by making here a sell is much more interesting than making a buy. We already have several points that the market react. We have this point, we have this point, we probably have this point yesterday. We will see how it's continue. But yeah, again, not making a buy here. It can be creating a flag in the 15-minute chart when here the market can, you see it's not a big momentum, and then the market can go on the downside. Again, if we identify and we find a differentiation between the two momentum, we have this huge movement up, okay, and we have this difference. So there are two different between the momentum. Here we pushed around 1.5%. How much time it is in one day? So it's all the day yesterday. Yeah, so this was all of this, and here the momentum is quite lower. So yeah, again, interesting. Hi mate, please check ISX 200. I believe it's the Australian index. I don't think we have here on the symbol. I need to go to TradingView to analyze that. Again, I want to focus on the Forex. Let me go to the pound Aussie and Aussie yen, and then I will check what's going on oil and the indices. Also, the Nasdaq is probably starting to move. A few minutes? No, nothing. Okay. Still, the market will open in the next minutes. Okay, pound Aussie, Aussie yen. Yeah, let's talk about the Aussie yen and maybe not the pound Aussie, because we talk about the Aussie, we talk about the pound also. So let's go to Aussie yen. We didn't talk about the yen yet. Again, very clear here, daily chart from April 2022. Market did not make any big push. The average is here around. We are at the bottom, still touching the low of July 2022, or yeah, what is that here? Yeah, July 2022, and then August 2022, November 2022. So you see here, it's quite a support. The more we touch it, the more it can break. But again, my mindset will tell me, okay, you cannot make a sell here, that's for sure. But probably making a buy if you find a good spot. We had here some buyers coming yesterday. We see the demand creating here. You see on the H1, still continuing. So the only spot I see is making a buy in the long term. Stop loss should be tight and should be managing. But what is starting to being a bit afraid is you see all on the monthly chart starting to behave. You see we already have a lot of rejection on the top side. You see we are at the top of the standard deviation. The average is here. We are at the top of the standard deviation, and you see all the pin bar on the top that tell to the price, hey, you need to calm down. The price starting to reject from here. So at some point we can break the support. So that's why I'm not being so comfortable by making a buy. Maybe in the short term this can work. Like you see, for example, here on the H4 we have some confirmation. But again, it looks like it's very weak here. So maybe, okay, again, welcome to New York. The ring bells again, 4:30, and then the market opens. Let's check meanwhile what's going on in the Nasdaq. The market, you see, Strong volatility starting to go and break below the pre-market. We already had some reaction, but let's check. Let's check where is the pressure. Oh, okay. There is some battle here. So yeah, let's move back at the horizon. But yeah, I think if I can open a buy, it would be again on that spot. You see, it's the top of September 2021, probably according to the demand that we have here. This might be a spot. Again, I'm not sure that this support can hold for a longer time. It's the weekly chart. You see, we touch a lot. It looks like a circle, you see. So we should be careful for when we create this type of pattern here. Okay, Nasdaq is making a new low from the pre-market of today. We will see if we can have an interesting scalp on Nasdaq after it's make this huge movement. The dollar card will definitely also go. If again, I would like to remember when the USD will go down. Let's make the opposite. If the dollar goes up, so gain value, you will see the Nasdaq losing value, and the opposite. Okay, we have some discussion about gold. And that's it. Gold and oil, I think I have to talk about. Yeah, let's move at the dollar CAD. You see, it's starting to respect here a little bit on the M1. We have already stochastics here below 20. It could be an interesting scalp here. But again, I prefer to wait for this zone. Maybe it could be only a partial entry for me if the market continues to go down. Gold. Yeah, so I explained yesterday during my the weekly forecast that this zone, which is the 1,800, is a key zone for already more than, let's say, a year already. Okay, you see, it was a support, create a demand, then we break it, we test again here, and then here we again test this zone yesterday. Yeah, we test again this zone last week and yesterday, and we get a rejection. Okay, so the 1,800 is a big key zone in gold. Actually, the market don't want to push above. Actually, the market crashed down a little bit, and the main spot I see for the day was, was probably the bottom of last week. That actually in the M30 minutes we have small rejection. But of course, if we go to the M15 chart, also here we have a spot. It's quite very technical recently on gold on lower time frame. It was the top here of the pre-market. We break out during the London session. Here New York session just opened. We are especially at that spot, which can be a good point actually to make a short scalp also. We'll see. Okay, the Nasdaq dropped down very strongly. I want to wait here. The market, we are not so far from that spot. I can probably open. Yeah, I should be careful with the scalp here. Not enough for me. Yeah, we'll just put the three spot we have. The scalp on gold is quite going good. I'm sorry guys, I'm a little bit focused here. We have some volatility after opening in the Nasdaq, let's say in the US indices. So you see I open half of my position a little bit above the demand in case the market will not go to my second entry, which you see the buy limit is here. So I'm 50% exposure already in the Nasdaq. Gold is starting to go my way, just the beginning of the movement. Dollar CAD, we are still going on my way also. So in the scalp, I will exit actually the gold after we made this reaction. So I just closed gold. Of course, it's the beginning. Again, it's the beginning of the New York session. There is high chance that if here there is a momentum, the market continue. I'm only looking for scalp in this type of session, but this can work in a longer time scale. So here quite a nice reaction on gold. Happy to take my profit around here. Nasdaq, we already starting to push again on my side. We'll see how far it goes. And on the dollar card, it's quite good also. We reject again the top of today in the M1. Yeah, and gold is pushing quite far here. Probably should close half maybe and let the half runner. Always, that's part of the game, managing risk. This can be also a zone in gold, for example, in M1. Well, create a huge demand here. Very big demand created in gold. Again, we didn't touch my second limit in Nasdaq. We are not so far. Okay guys, quite an interesting session so far. I will have to leave in the next few minutes, unfortunately for today. But quite, we see an interesting opening today. Okay, we touched the buy limit. Little bit bought with the spreads. We'll make the execution manually. And only need to wait right now. Full exposure. We have some space. We have some space. What's happening in gold? Nothing else. I'm sorry, I'm a bit moving fast between the time frame. Dollar CHF is squeezing now on 5 minutes. Yeah, let's look at what's going on the dollar CHF. Zero trades for me today, Ruben. That's fine to be out of the market. I keep repeating, but you know, on the USD, especially the euro and pound that I like trade recently, I don't have any position on that pairs. So that's fine. That's totally fine to being out. Here, 5 minutes squeezing. You know, we are actually at the average. If I look at the M1, if you found a buy here, that's totally fine. That's totally good. Let's say if you find a buy here. On M5, it's starting looking to retracing and go back at least to the mean, which is a little bit here. So yeah, good job if you see this. Again, dollar CAD moving ups and down. Going to check what's going to happen. Nasdaq starting to push against me a little bit. We have to hold the position, probably taking some stop loss below. I hope my stop loss is not so close. Australian 200, Bobby, I promise you that's correct. I promised to talk about oil also, but I need to check what's going on in the market. So let me do that for you. I keep my word. Yeah, I think it's behaved the same as the FTSE. If I look at the FTSE recently, it's quite behaved the same. H4 chart, big uptrend, okay, big uptrend. But if I go to the daily or weekly chart, again, not making any buy at that spot. It's not a value for me. Okay, go pushing a bit against me again. Again, not a lot of value if making a buy here, except if you are in the long-term perspective. But if you look at the daily chart, you see we are actually giving some rejection here. It's also reacting to this top. So yeah, not making a buy definitely. Actually the market is pushing down, so I hope you didn't miss the opportunity, but you need to be careful of what's going to happen in this demand. Okay, so here can be a buyer spot. Here the market is pushing down, so I'm not sure if you need to enter a position or not. I'm not sure if you are long or short actually, but you see this will be a spot for taking some profit for sellers at the top, or making a buy for people that want to go in the trend. Okay, so this is what I see, but clearly uptrend on the H4 chart. Average is on the middle. You see we are a bit below the average. I didn't put Bollinger Bands, but I believe that we should be here at the bottom of the standard deviation on the downside. So this is for me Australian index. I hope up wasn't so fast. If you guys like that I show you this type of chart and different assets, let me know. I'm always happy. But it's quite the same as the FTSE. The FTSE behaving quite the same. Just getting out and stopped out on Nasdaq. That's totally fine. I still have CAD that I'm still in. Didn't break any high. Gold rejecting at the top here. Probably the US indices and gold moving together today. One winner, one loser. The dollar CAD still in, probably starting to break. It can happen. And let's talk about oil. I'm not sure if Tom is here. He asked me to find and talk about oil. But in any case, the let's say $76 per barrel in oil, let's say is okay for the overall world. Generally, the average price is $60. Actually, there is inflation. The dollar is quite expensive. So 76 can be the average price. It can be like the decent price for a barrel of oil. So in the long term, I don't know what to expect. You see, actually, if I see technically the daily chart is, we have like a daily support here that the markets keep holding. And if I go to the daily charts, yeah, the next spot is here, 168. Again, making a buy here is totally fine. Yeah, making a buy here is quite fine actually. It's also coordinating with the top before the COVID 2018. I remember I trade this period in oil. It was there was an issue with Saudi Arabia exploding some oil reserves, so the market pushed up, and then it was during the time of, if I remember, Donald Trump that says we don't want a war right now, it's not the moment, and then the price of oil went down. So yeah, actually we are at the top of that point. This is also a key zone for the monthly chart. Top of 2017 around $75 per barrel. This can bring some momentum on the upside on that space especially. Okay. Yeah, only need to manage also this one. We make a new high in the dollar CAD. As expecting, you see. We can see if we have some rejection also here. Guys, thank you for being with me today. I appreciate the time. Not quite easier to trade the Nasdaq as there is a lot of volatility, breaking some structure actually. Gold was quite nice, nice opening. Dollar CAD I'm still in. We're gonna check if the market's starting to go and to break this momentum. Still looking at it. And yeah, guys, happy to be with you as usual during Monday and Tuesday on Trading Room. Hope you guys enjoy the content, learn some new stuff and some other traders' mindset. My mindset is quite different. So yeah, I like sharing this type of session with you guys. Again, I wish you a very nice day. Take care of you. Happy World Cup football if you guys like football. And yeah, see you next week, guys. Bye bye.